Hi, this is Dr. M. Richard Robert Ra, Associate Professor of English from Nehru Arts Science College, and I work in the Department of English. I offer this particular course called Phonetics in the second semester for second BA students, and the course code is 23U3ENC 408, and it's a very important course for the second BA students as well as for the BA English Literature students. And this course help the learners to help them in improving the pronunciation. First, let me talk about the course outcomes of the course. The first is understanding the basics of phonetics, where in this course the learners will be understanding and learning the principles of phonetics, articulatory, acoustics, and auditory phonetics. And second, they'll be identifying the speech sounds, that is consonants, vowels, and the IPA sounds in from the textbooks as well as from the outside the textbooks as well. And third is the analyzing the articulatory process, where they identifying the different speech sounds and also the psychological process of sounds involved in the vocal tract, articulatory, and airflow. And the next is the transcription of speech sound, where the learners will perform the accurate phonetic transcription. That is, the word will be given where they have to transcribe the words into by using the phonetic alphabets. They have a transcription of the sounds. The next will be the understanding the acoustic properties. This is the higher level of the course, where they'll be learning about the acoustics properties of speech sounds, where they'll be dealing more about the visualizing using the spectrum. These are the higher level of the sounds. And last one is evaluating phonetic variation. This also comes under the higher level order of the course when they go for research level. And the last one is applying phonetic theory, where they'll talk about the speech therapy and also the linguistic research. Let me move on to the main topic of the presentation. The first, we'll be knowing more about communication. So communication is nothing but you send a signal and people receive and understand. This is the main concept of communication, where there are two people all involved in communication. Likewise, if you talk about the phonetic communication, we have the two types. One is called the sensory communication, where we talk about the auditory communication and also the visual communication. So auditory communication, it talks more about the sounds, and the visual communication, it talks about the visual properties. And the next one is the motor communication, where we talk about more focus on the speech and write sounds. So here, when we talk about the brain aspects, this is the brain aspects which we'll be talking more about in communication, where the brain is the mastermind for developing the communication. The first one is the motor cortex, and the Wernicke area, and Broca area, and aortic area. So these area talks about more about the speech and language production. So normally when we talk about the brain area of the of speech and language, so this first one is the Wernicke area. It is one of the very important area in the brain for the production of speech sound. And Broca area, where we talk about it again deals with this production of speech sounds and language. And this particular speech articulation, this is called insulia, where it is mainly focused on the speech articulation, where the sounds are produced. So the motor cortex, so it is something where morely focus on the what I say the motor part, that is sensory part. And this is called the angular gyrus, and the last one is the auditory associate area. When you come more about the speech structure, so these are the important thing in speech sounds. So the first one is the oral cavity, we can see here. And when you talk about the nasal part, this is the nasal part. And the last one will be the pharynx, this area and this area. This is very important for in producing the speech sounds. And so when we talk about the sounds, the both internal and also external organs are involved in producing the language. So let me move on more about the language and brain. So there are a lot of studies happening in India and also abroad about the language, how the language was produced. So there are research going on in the what is the neurolinguistics. There are many things are happening right now in the world regarding the language production. So when we talk about the Broca area, it mainly focus on the speaking and vocalization for normal sounds. You can see these are the two areas where I'm highlighting here. So one is the Broca area and the vernacular area. And the Broca area which I was talking, it talks mainly focusing on the speaking and vocalization. And when you talk about this particular Oranic area, it talks mainly on the understanding the speech. So when you talk, the opposite people understands your language. This is the main area. Like there is something like the receptive part, and the Broca area is the productive part of the language. So it is mainly used for auditory cortex. It mainly used for the speech comprehension in production of the language. So when you talk about the production of sounds, so this is the way the sounds are produced from our internal organ. The first, it comes from the lungs, so that is the air mechanism, and from there it comes to the vocal cords. So I told you vocal cords, and then we have the pharynx. So these are the internal area. The next one is the velum and the oral cavity. So you know oral cavity already I've shared it. I told you earlier. So the velum and oral cavity. So again it is again a two part. One is, so it is from velum we have air is passed through the nasal cavity, and then we have the speech sound. When we talk about the other root, the oral cavity, that is the tongue, the lips, and the passive articulator, we have the oral speech. So this is the way the sounds are produced, and how the speech sound and oral sounds are produced. So it starts with the lungs, vocal cords, pharynx. From there it is go to velum, the nasal cavity, and the speech. And second part is something called the oral part. So that is the tongue, lips, and passive. Three organs are involved in for oral speech. So let me move on to the quiz. So when you talk about phonetics, what is the study of speech sounds called? The second question is, which branch of phonetics deals with physical properties of sounds? And the last one, which of the following is a voice sounds? So this I'll be talking very detailedly in my next lecture. So these are the answers. The first answer, phonetics, the articulatory phonetics, and the voice sound is k. And so these are the references. I've taken it for my presentation for making this video. And thank you. Have a nice day. Thank you.